Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Telebrico, or Miss T. You can call me Mrs. Telebrico or Miss T if you'd like. And today I'm going to be talking to you about beginning ceramics for spring term 2022. And this is your syllabus overview. So if you missed my talk at the beginning of the week, or you transferred in a little bit later, you can watch this and understand the syllabus. Or if you're a parent of a student, you missed back to school night, you can watch this video and understand the syllabus. So some general overview about what is beginning ceramics. For me, this class is the perfect introduction to understanding the basic concepts of ceramic, how to make things, how to glaze things, how the studio works and runs, and an introduction to the chemistry and physics that is fired clay. Hooray! We do a mix of hand building projects and projects on the potter's wheel. So you learn, I call it like the big four techniques, which is building with slabs, building with pinch pots, coil building, and throwing on the wheel. So I have a little train railroad spike tattoo on my hand. It looks funny. It looks like a cut, but it's actually a little temporary tattoo that I put on last night with I have a 2.5-year-old son. Our class format is going to be a mixture of lectures and demos that are live from me, as well as videos that I shoot and edit for my YouTube channel. So you'll get to see a mix of live demos and also YouTube video demos for me. We'll do a lot of one-on-one critiques where you and I will talk individually or in small groups about your work. We won't do any big critiques until maybe the very last end of this term project. We'll have a whole class critique, so you don't have to freak out about those yet. There's going to be quizzes on health and safety, on the syllabus, and other things. There's going to be a midterm test on important information, and our final at the very end of the term is a final project, not a final exam. Supply fund contribution. What makes this class so awesome is that my students donate a huge portion of my budget to buy all kinds of supplies. The district gives me a small budget for supplies, but it really comes out to about $8 a student, and that is the equivalent of 1 bag of clay per student. So I ask that families and students donate to the supply fund so I can provide an unlimited amount of clay, an unlimited amount of glazes and bright colored underglazes, tools, and any kind of special things that my students need, I get for them. This includes all kinds of things like hair ties and hand lotion and just an unbelievable amount of things. So I can't, it's hard for me to ask for money, but it's something I have to do. And so I ask that each student donate $75 or whatever you can donate to the supply fund. And that really helps make this class like the most awesome class on campus, makes it what it is. So I have all these unlimited supplies to give kids. And everything that you make in class, you get to take home. And so that's another big part of it is like you can make and take home an unlimited amount of things. You want to make stuff and take it home, I will never stop you. So please make a check that's payable to CHS-ASB and bring it to class as soon as possible so that I can get those funds and start buying things for the studio and for the kiddos to help make their projects super duper awesome. So here it is, $75 on a check made out to CHS-ASB is the easiest way to go. You can also go to the ASB website, but it's a little tricky to use, I'll just be honest. So for most people, writing a check is the simplest way to get it to me's. Some other things you might want to bring, I have lockers in the back of the studio where you could keep like an old shirt. Some people bring like whole outfits that they like change into when they get here, like a big pair of sweatpants and an old t-shirt are great to just put on over your clothes so you're comfortable and you can get messy and it's not like a big problem, because you will get dirty in here. It's just inevitable. I have a million aprons that students use. Are kind of like community aprons that people have left behind. But if you'd like to bring your own apron, that's a nice thing to bring. And then I'm a sketcher. I like to have just a pad of paper, something something like this, a little spiral if you like to draw or write ideas in, but it's not required, just a nice thing to have when you're in class, or a little folder to keep handouts and stuff. Might be helpful, but maybe not necessary, but some kids like to have those things. Okay, here's the makeup of the grade. The biggest part of your grade is going to be your actual clay projects, things that we make in class and your assignments. And the number one thing that really matters to me is it's making things, but it's also cleaning up, because we make big messes in here. It's part of art and ceramics and what we do. So your cleanup and studio participation is as valuable as the actual objects that you make in class. So every week we have a weekly cleanup job and a cleanup grade. So in addition to cleaning up your little workspace that you worked in, each student is assigned a different cleanup station around the room to maintain with a group of 5 other students. And that's what really keeps and maintains the studio in its working order and its clean and health conscious order. And also being able to find the things you need is really critical in being creative. So clay projects, studio participation, 40%. There is some light homework in the beginning of the term where I'm going to have students watching short videos and answering quick questions. There are going to be lectures on different topics, so that's really easy peasy. That's worth 10%. And then tests and quizzes are worth 10%. And I don't like for these to be worth a lot, because I don't think it's important to have tests be a big chunk of the grade. I think that making things and cleaning up really exemplifies what we actually do in class, whereas tests and quizzes just show that you are understanding these big concepts and moving forward. All right, clay projects are graded on 3 things: craftsmanship, idea development, and following directions or fulfilling objectives. And those 3 pillars are what make up my rubrics. And they're the 3 things I'm looking for when kids are making things. It's like, are you taking care and time in your work, or are you just slapping it together kind of messily, and is it going to break and crack because of that? Idea development is like, people think, oh, I'm not creative, or I gotta have creativity. But for me, it's sort of like you build creativity with ideas by developing ideas. It starts with a simple idea, then you add a little more to it, and you build, and that's idea development, not necessarily creativity. And fulfilling objectives. If it's a pinch pot project, are you using pinch pots the way I want you to, and scoring and slipping properly, or coiling, or learning the steps of throwing on the wheel, following directions, things like that. Okay. So that's a big part. Clay projects. Part 2 is participation and cleanup. This is, are you a part of the ceramics community? Are you helping? Are you cleaning? And ceramics really is, I call it a team sport in the arts, in that we need to work together in order to keep the studio clean and organized, but also like moving all the work through the different stages, like moving it onto the proper shelf, moving it into the kiln at the proper time, And all that takes lots and lots of hands. It's hundreds and hundreds of little pieces need to be moved around, and I only have 2 hands. So having kids in the studio help out with that is critical. It's the only way to get things done around here is we work together as a team. And then another part of that is mixing and recycling clay. We make a lot of clay scraps, and that clay needs to be recycled and reworked so it's reusable, which is awesome. So we don't really make too much waste around the studio. So recycling clay is a big part of your grade, cleaning up, and just being a part of the team is important. Tardies and absences. Try to get here on time. You really got to be here to do ceramics. It's not something that works well at home, as we learned last year in the pandemic. It's not an easy thing to do at home, and it's hard to do over Zoom. So it's really critical that you come to class and participate and be actively working during the whole class. So coming on time is important. If you are absent due to COVID reasons or for other reasons, then what we do is we'll work together to adjust your project, make it simpler, maybe make it smaller, so that when you are here, you can get caught up. I like to have projects turned in on time, because if some people get an extra 2 days or an extra week or an extra that, then it just becomes chaos. And it's when we work as a group and we have an actual end deadline, then it's easier for everyone to move forward so they can move on. If you are out for COVID, I guess I will say this now, you do have to show up on Zoom and for attendance, and that's where I will keep you up to date with what's going on in the studio. You can keep me up to date with what's going on with you, and then that's kind of how we work together to make things go well. All right, that's deadlines. Some general rules is be nice and be helpful. Be mature about the kind of extra special freedoms that we have here in ceramics. It's a nice class where you get to move around, you get to talk with your friends, and it's a very social environment. But with these great freedoms, we also have to be really mature about how we care for each other, and any kind of behavior that prevents teaching or harms the studio or others is not tolerated. And so usually the first offense will be a warning, maybe a lowering of your participation grade. The second offense might be a detention or phone call home to guardians. Third offense would be a referral and maybe sitting out of class for a day. And in some cases, kids have been permanently removed from the class because they can't handle the freedom or the responsibility that's ceramics. COVID safety. Everyone is required to wear their mask 100% over your nose and over your mouth when you're in the classroom, in the studio at all times. You have to wear your mask properly, and that's just it. You just gotta, if you're gonna come in the door, you gotta wear your masky. Cell phones. We put our cell phones in the pouch or away at all times. There are lots of instances where we do use our phones to look up ideas or document our work. So if you do have your phone out, I let you know, and we ask that you use it responsibly. Fine print on cell phones. How to reach me. There is one email and one email only that I check on a regular basis, and I respond to very quickly on weekdays, and it is my .net, my kelly.telebrico@coronadousd.net email. I don't respond on PowerSchool. I don't respond to my .org email. I don't respond on my Instagram account. This is the one email, my .net email. You can send me an email. I will respond. I will see it 100% of the time. So Just ignore all those other things. You know what I mean? Academic dishonesty and cheating, it's not really an issue in our class. Sometimes, and it has happened even last term, where people make very similar work and they easily mistake maybe your project for their project. And so people think that someone is like maliciously stealing their work. But so the best way to avoid this problem is to label and sign your work on the bottom really clearly. Make sure it's obvious it's yours down there so that people don't accidentally mistake it for their work. And I'm like Santa Claus. I see everything that happens in the studio, so I know if you've done the work or not. All right, some important dates are the syllabus quiz will be due on Friday, February 11th. The signed Guardian page is worth 5 points, and that is due ASAP, proving that your folks understand the syllabus. Back to school night will be February 9th at 5 p.m. on Zoom. And please donate to our supply fund ASAP. The sooner the better. For me, $75 is recommended, but I will accept any donation you're willing to donate. All of it is super helpful, helps make the class the most awesomest class on campus, and I'm super excited to meet you. Miss T, over and out. Bye, chickens.